Hi everyone, I'm Margaret Holder, branch manager at the Village Branch Library here in Pickens, and we are celebrating Earth Day. And we have with us Susan Lunt, who is the water resource agent for the Clemson Extension Cooperative. She's going to be demonstrating how to make a rain chain, and that will be our carryout kit that you can request at any of our library locations. But also, if you comment on this video, your name will be entered into a drawing for your own free rain barrel. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Susan to start the demonstration.
Welcome. I'm so happy you're here to join us in building a rain chain today. So rain chains, like the ones you see here, are an excellent way to harvest rainwater. So today I'm going to talk about the supplies you have in your kit and some background information about rain chains and how to build something like this. So the supplies that you may have received in your kit may not be exactly like the ones that you see here today, but they will be similar and you'll do the same types of things to connect them to your chain. Again, I have 3 examples to show you here today. We have one that's made with rocks, one that has some bells. Oops, I just took that one off. I'll reconnect that. And one with sort of whimsical little blue buckets that we have here. So rain chains can be used to divert water from your rooftop, from the eaves, down to the ground. And they generally go into a well-drained area. They may go into a dish, such as this, with some rocks to dissipate the energy. They can go into a bucket where you can collect the water and use it for other items that I'll mention in a few minutes. Or they can go into a rain barrel where you can harvest gallons of water at one time and then also use that water later around your house. As I mentioned, if you harvest that rainwater, that's what a rain chain is doing, is it's collecting that water for you into a bucket such as this. You're going to want to tend to it. You're not going to leave it out, but put it out when you know you're about to have a rainstorm, and then get it at the end of that rainstorm. This way you're not creating an area that's going to breed mosquitoes or creating a hazard for children or pets. Your rain barrels, you'll want to make sure they have some sort of screen also to keep those types of things from happening. Make sure to never drink the water that you're harvesting from your roof. But these are good ways to save money, to reduce the burden on your municipal water supplies. So as I mentioned, the rain chain helps divert and collect that rainwater and put it into a different location than just throughout your yard, creating stormwater runoff. Stormwater runoff can erode and pollute our environment, so that's why we want to do what we can to be good earth stewards and help conserve water. Rain chains originated in Japan about a couple centuries ago, and they've really taken off lately in America because we can create them ourselves. You can purchase them very inexpensively, make ones yourself like we're doing here. You can be very creative, or you can get very ornate and expensive ones if you wish. The way the rain chains work is through surface tension. Rain water is going to follow the path of least resistance. So it's going to go to a low point in your roof where the eaves or downspouts are, and then it's going to follow the chain down into whatever receptacle you have for it. Just like if you were holding a glass of water that was sweating or a little bit too full on the top, kind of spills over the glass and runs down your arms, kind of annoying, that's the surface tension. So the same time idea, we just want it to go down our chain. Because of this, we want to make sure that we're collecting it at good points and that we're discharging it away from the foundation of our house. So when you go to install it, you'll want to look for that. So let's look at the supplies that you should have in your kit. They'll come in a bucket similar to this. Again, you can use that later to collect water and do things like wash your car, maybe a pet, gardening equipment. You could use that water in a bird bath. Just make sure that when you're washing these items that you're using environmentally friendly soap and that you do it on like a grassy or permeable surface. You'll also have 9 to 10 feet of chain, such as this, or the chains you see here. You'll have 2 large S-hooks We'll use one to connect it to the eave of your house, and one goes at the bottom to help with it blowing in the wind and to secure it down to whichever type of receptacle you have. You'll have some small S-hooks to connect whatever item it is that you're using to create more surface tension and surface area, such as the rocks, the bells, the bends. You'll also have some rocks of some sort that will go into a dish. You might have some wire, depending on what types of items are in your bin or in your kit, to help attach items, and then whatever the items are. Two items that you might want to have on hand that won't be included in your kit are a pair of pliers that might have sort of a wire cutting portion to those pliers, and a pair of scissors. If you haven't picked up a kit yet, or after you make this you're so excited and you want to make more, you can use items from around the house. Instead of chain, you can use natural rope. You can pick up chain at your local kind of hardware or home improvement store. And then you can use all sorts of items that you might find around a house, or you can create memories from a past activity you've done and keep it going. So if you have seashells from a recent beach trip, or maybe you had a special hike where you collected some items from nature such as pine cones or rocks, you could incorporate those into your rain chain, and then you have that nice memory and thing to look at in the future. So let's look at making one. So either you're going to want to lay your chain out on a flat surface such as this, or temporarily hang it from something, but making sure that you can reach the top of it to hang your items. Then you simply take an item such as a bell, take your S-hook, connect it, and then as you saw when it fell off before, you just hang it on there. Because of the wind and nature that might be blowing on it, you might want the pliers then to tighten that S-hook once you have it in the exact location that you want, or use some wire or natural rope to tie it to that location so it doesn't fall off. After you have everything about where you want it, that's when you'll want to do it. But you can rearrange things. You can have them go from big to small, small to big, colored. Here I have sort of an ombre kind of thing going with the blue bends. But I'm going to show you how to do things other than just the simple bells. If you have something like pine cones or rocks, such as this, then you're going to need to wrap wire around them. So you'll see here some that I've already done. But simply I usually look for sort of like a crook or something in the rock that's going to sort of help it stay in place. And then you just kind of wrap and wrap. It was kind of nice this weekend when I was practicing make these. It's just sort of therapeutic and relaxing just to wrap them around. Once you have it secured, again, you can take your S-hook like I've done on this one and then hang it onto your rain chain. If you have an item such as this, maybe terracotta pots can work, any type of small kind of basket, bin, pot, then you're going to want to make sure there's a hole in the bottom. While we're trying to create surface area for the water to rain and then have more and more surface area to create that surface tension and slow down that water, dissipate that energy, we don't want to store water in this. So while it may collect, we want it to drain out. So if you have something of this sort, you're going to want to put a hole in it. This is what I use the scissors for. I put it down on a table and I just kind of jabbed it into the plastic. It doesn't have to be perfect or perfectly circular or anything like that because you're not going to see it. And then you'll take your chain and you'll thread it through the bottom. Easier said than done. There we go. And through one of the handles in this case. Again, we want it close to the chain so that as that water is running down it, it is collecting and then continuing to drain. The purpose of creating all that surface tension is to slow that water down so that as it gets to the ground, it's not eroding as much as it would have if it was just coming off of the roof. So then that creates a rain chain, and you put it on here. When you go to install your rain chain, you're going to use the S-hook and connect it to a low-lying area of your house. Your kit is for a single-story house or a single-story portion of your house. So you're going to look for where roof lines connect, a low point, an eave, and you're going to want to make sure to look at the manufacturer's instructions so that you are hanging it as it indicates. You will hang it at an eave or near a downspout, and then you also want it to not only be intentional about where you place it, but where it's discharging. So at the bottom of that rain chain, as I mentioned, you're going to have a dish. You can have some rocks in it. That helps dissipate that energy. As this fills and overflows a little bit, then it's nice if underneath this, if you're able to dig a hole a little bit bigger than this size and about 6 inches deep, and also fill that with some more stones that you might find around the yard, or again, you can get them at a home improvement store. This will help the water slow down, infiltrate, and gives it time so that it's not eroding your yard, maybe your neighbor's yard, and carrying with it pollutants downstream. If you're not able to make a hole in the ground, then just put some bigger rocks here on top. Again, as the water comes down the chain, it will dissipate that energy and slow things down. You can keep it very natural looking, or like I did with the blue ones, I did a fun sort of blue, it's actually a frisbee that I just turned upside down, and I put some nice colored rocks. So again, get your family involved, make a theme, make it to your own style and flair. At the bottom, when you have your chain, you're going to want to take another S-hook, and you're going to want to secure it by putting some rocks over it at the bottom. So again, as wind and weather comes about, the rain chain's not blowing all over the place, and you're making sure to discharge that water exactly where you want it to. So once you've done that, you've then installed your rain chain, and you have a beautiful chain in your house that you can sit back and enjoy. You'll want to keep looking at it every once in a while to check to make sure that your eaves are in good condition, that the materials you used aren't deteriorating, and that it's not eroding down below. Thank you for joining me today. I really hope that you go out and build a rain chain with your kit, or use something else that you find and are creative. Please post pictures on Pickens County Library System Facebook page so we can see what you've done. If you have any questions, you can contact me at slunt, L-U-N-T, at clemson.edu. I'd be happy to answer any questions about this presentation or any other rain harvesting ideas. If you would like step-by-step instructions that are written out, if you go to Clemson's Home and Garden Information Center, that's HGIC, their website, you can just type in rain chain, and there's a fact sheet with all the information that was here today. Thank you again.